Hi everyone, this will be a reading on how Mistress Death feels about you. Respect to anyone's religion or non-religion watching this. This is supposed to just be a fun reading. If you believe in Mistress Death or not, doesn't really matter. The first pile would be this wish bottle, and if you look closer, you can see a little fairy on it. When I bought it, the guy who gave it to me let me put a birthstone in it. I chose ruby for my birthstone, which is from July. And when he asked what kind of potion he should put in it, I asked for the love potion, because the only thing I ever wish for is my one true love. When you wear this, it settles around the heart chakra. So I don't know if that was important to some of you, but mostly I just keep it on my altar. The second pile is this badass waist pendant of the pentagram with a little purple stone in the middle. It looks more like black in this lighting, but it's very pretty. It's like a garnet sort of color. And when you wear it around your waist, or at least around my waist, it settles around my heart chakra, or not my, I don't know why I almost said it. It settles around my sacral chakra, which is my favorite chakra. Funnily enough, the heart chakra is also my favorite chakra, so it's kind of cool because it's kind of cool that pile 1 and 2 relate to each other, because I got them both on the same day, and the day I got them, I got really car sick and puked all over them. So they have a nice sort of sibling bond going on. Okay, for the third pile, we have this chipped moonstone pendulum, and I did drop it and make the tip fall off, so I can't use it as a pendulum anymore, but I really like it. I like its energy, so I like to keep it on my altar near my evil eye stuff. Pile 1, you chose this fairy wish bottle. This is going to be your reading. I'm going to put this on. Okay. Today I'm using this tiny line strider tarot by Ciala Thompson that my mom's wife gave to me, or let me borrow for this reading. Okay. So, pile 1, how does Mistress Death feel about you? Basically, how would she treat you during death? What advice would she give you to help you get through it? If she would give you any advice at all? How she would react to your death in particular? And then how she just feels about you right now in terms of your life. Okay. Here are a bunch of cards. Bottom of the deck we have King of Pentacles in reverse. So first of all, Mistress Death is someone who sees, I feel like she sees you as someone who is not financially well off, and not in a bad way that like you're a bad person because you don't make a lot of money, but like you've been around the bend, you've had to work for your money, you've had to work to get by just to make ends meet, you have to do a lot of stuff, and there might have been a couple of times in your life where you even came close to death because of this stuff, simply because you're just like not meant to be on the more luxurious side of things. Your lifetime is more like not having those things, not being given those things. And yeah, more than once, Mistress Death has thought that she was gonna have to take you in after these unfortunate events happened to you. But she sees you as someone who pushes through and who pushed past those things and was able to still live through those things, despite how hard it was for you. How she would treat you during death, she wouldn't be like this balanced motherly figure. She wouldn't really be like, oh, you're dying, it's okay. She'd be more like really blunt and really to the point. She'd be like, you're dead, this is just how it is. She wouldn't really have a balanced perspective on telling you. She would just sort of tell you, and however you react, you react. She'd just be like, yeah, this is how it is. And it's almost like she knows that you would be able to take it in really easily, or it's almost like you wouldn't want it sugar coated or anything like that. She would point out the fact that you couldn't control your death. There's like something in particular about your death that was out of control that she would point out and talk to you about. Because it's almost like when Mistress Death comes to see you and take you in, she takes you through your death. So basically, to take you through your death, she has to take you through your whole life to see like what led up to your death. And then she has to sort of like, it's almost like it's like tying up loose ends in terms of your soul and closure that your soul needs to be in this, to move on from this lifetime, And she would basically just be pointing out all of the times you had to sort of surrender to the universe because you couldn't really use anything to your advantage. You just sort of had to go with the flow and like do what you had to do with what happened. She would also show you all the times that you like got hurt unfairly, or the time you didn't really receive justice you deserved, and you didn't get that relief. I feel like she would come and bring that relief to you. I feel like she would sort of be this passive observer over the fact that those things happened to you and those people were like bad people, and the fact that she's gonna be so passive and objective about it is gonna make you feel better and more like, oh yeah, that's just how it happened. Like, it's nothing to do with my fault or anything. That's just how my life was. I feel like how she's gonna react to your death. I got 8 of Pentacles. So I don't feel like she's gonna be holding you or coddling you through the death. I feel like she's just gonna be letting you follow her, and it's almost like she won't even need to say anything to you because you're just going to be surrendering to your death so easily. All you'll have to do is follow her lead, and by doing this, she's gonna sort of show you how fruitful your life truly was, and the things and the lessons you learned meant to you, because now that you're in your death, you'd be sort of realizing how the things in your life are parallel to how you are receiving your death. And the lessons you learned in your life are sort of parallel to be able to accept your death, if that makes sense. And she'd be showing you that it didn't just mean nothing. Like, she wouldn't even have to be saying anything to just be showing you your life, and you'd be following her and like trusting in yourself, and she'd just be letting you trust in yourself and flow with death however you flow. And she'd sort of be like, yeah, this is who you truly are. This is what your death made you able to do these things and learn these lessons, and this is what you'll bring onto your next life, is this resilience, this ability to create something out of what you have and flow with the universe like that, no matter what the universe throws at you, so that even whether you're alive or you're dying, it like you're able to get through it, and you're able to let go a lot more quick than other people would. I feel like death is kind of Mistress Death would be kind of happy with you, because she's like, I don't really have to work to help this person or this soul through death, because you'd just be so accepting of it. You'd be very quick to be okay with it, if that makes sense, or like understand it. if that makes sense. Whereas sometimes it takes souls years to understand it. And that's why some souls get trapped in between the veil of like moving on to the next life and being in this life. They get trapped in between. That's where you get your spirits from. They get trapped for so long they forget why they're even there, and it just like they become malevolent. So how she as of right now, how she feels about your death is sort of she knows it's gonna change you a lot. Like the Tower, she knows like the actual event of your death is gonna like change your perspective on how your life was and who you are as a person, and make you feel more like proud. Ten of Pentacles reversed, I feel like she's gonna show you that you don't need money to be happy with your life, and that things like money and stability, foundations, things like that are like temporary, and they're temporary as life is temporary, or as your life was temporary. And the people who cherish those things, like in this life, you're having to deal a lot with people who are just, they're just given things. Like things just come to them, the universe gives them opportunities. And the fact that they don't understand your struggle, because you aren't handed things. You aren't handed anything by the universe. You had to work every step of the way to find confidence, find love in yourself, all of that. And it's really frustrating for you because you can't really, there's no real way to make those other people understand. But I feel like in particular, Mistress Death is going to show you why exactly you were meant to be this person in this lifetime who showed those people who sort of had this sense of entitlement to what they were handed to by the universe. They're like, oh, I'm just a better person, so I get handed things. Maybe you should be a better person. You'll get handed things by the universe. But you sort of came to teach karmic lessons of like, when those people actually had to turn around and work for something, they completely changed up their vibe, if that makes sense. Especially with you, because they know you're the type of person to work for something, and so they subconsciously feel like you're superior to them. Because they feel like that's an inferiority in themselves, because they feel like if they aren't being handed something, then they don't know how to work for anything at all. And you sort of showed those people that reflection of themselves that they were so scared to see, that reality that they were so scared to imagine, that like, what if you weren't handed everything? What if foundations didn't just easily come to you? And what if everything just fell through all the time, because that's just how circumstances work out for you? And I feel like Mistress Death is going to give you some closure and like showing you the path that those people go down compared to how your path went down. Because I feel like it's going to have a particular meaning to you, like this class, this like poor against rich sort of problem, you know, that's sort of like a lesson you have to learn on your own. But it was hard for you because people kept expecting more from you. And with this Eight of Cups in reversed, Mistress Death, even though she's passive and she's more of an observer and she's not going to push you to believe anything, I feel like she's going to be kind of like smug that she shows you these things about these other people, and the fact that these other people felt incomplete, the world in reverse within themselves. Meanwhile, they would put you down, but they would never move on. With this Eight of Cups in reverse, they would never move on from the fact that they like felt inferior to you. She would show you that and sort of be smug about that for you to finally see that you had the world the entire time. You worked for your world to be put together. And she's going to show you that you aren't meant to move on from these lessons. You aren't meant to just let it go. You're meant to carry those pains that you experienced in this life and these injustices you experience in this life to the next life, because you are divine feminine. You are the Empress energy, and like you keep getting thrown all these curveballs. People treat you so wrong, so wrong, just very wrong, and you still have this abundant energy of just sort of surrendering to the universe and letting things be, and that has always gotten you through your hardships. And you're going to carry that on to the next life because you're learning so many lessons in this life of just poverty and not having enough and having to work just to like be able to survive, having to like literally sell your body, sell your time, sell your energy just to be able to survive and live in this world. And the fact that that's a huge injustice, like you're meant to carry that on to your next life. And that's why Mistress Death is going to be stressing those points in your life and those lessons in your life and your death, because she wants you to sort of feel a need for redemption, a need for revenge for this lifetime, this soul lifetime, because I feel like Mistress Death is sort of all about balance, and she wants to bring justice back to you. Because with this Nine of Pentacles in reverse, you were never allowed this free abundance. You were never allowed to like receive the abundance that the divine feminine Empress energy usually gets to get. You were the divine Empress without any of the benefits. You were just that strong person who was able to surrender to the universe even if you didn't get riches and abundance in return. And because of that, Mistress Death is going to be kind of like, she isn't going to be saying, I keep stressing the fact that she's going to be passive. She isn't going to be saying anything directly. She isn't going to be expressing any sort of opinions. But it's sort of like, by bringing you through your life and helping you through your death, she's going to be sort of gassing you up and making you feel more proud of yourself, more proud of how much you accomplished in this life, who you were in this life, and how much abundance it brought you to not have abundance and to work, to push yourself to work through that and still be this divine feminine energy, and how much abundance that's going to bring you in death, with death, because you're not going to need to know, you're not going to need to feel secure about the death. You're not going to need some secure foundation about like how this death is going to go. You're just going to surrender to it like you always have. And then you're going to realize how powerful and strong you truly are, because Mistress Death is just going to be flowing with you, and y'all are going to be flowing together, and you're going to be like, we are on the same vibe. Mistress Death's going to be like, she's not going to say anything, but she'll be like, yes, we are. And I feel like finally, when you do have to like let go of your death, I have Temperance in reverse here. It's sort of gonna be like you're fighting her, and that's why she's gonna be passive the whole time, because she knows that you're gonna fight her when it comes to the actual death, because your soul still deserves redemption over a lot of stuff that's happened in your life. Your soul still deserves the karma to be served. And so the reason you're going to be fighting at the end of your death is because your soul is going to be fighting for that redemption that you're meant to bring on into your next life. And it's almost like, it's not even going to be that you're mad that you're fighting. It's almost going to be like, Mistress Death brings you through all that, shows you all that, and is like, okay, you have to die now. And it's almost going to be like this moment where you're like, okay, I have to fight. I have to fight for myself. I have to fight for these lessons I've learned. And I feel like that's the moment where she's going to be the most proud of you, because she's going to be like, even through all of this, you fought your whole life, but you're not giving up even in death. You're still going to fight because you know you deserve better. You know your inner child, your true soul, that purity inside you, that light inside you deserves better. And you are going to carry that onto the next life, for better or fucking worse. And that's just how it's meant to be. Hi, Pile 2. If you chose this beautiful pentagram pendant with the purple stone that settles at the sacral chakra, this is going to be a reading. I'm going to keep it real with you. Pile 2, you have a lot of haters, a lot of people sending you evil eye and stuff like that. Just a lot of bitter people all up in your energy. So I'm going to do a quick Palo Santo cleansing. But these haters literally have nothing to do with how Mistress Death feels about you. When you die, guess how much those people are going to matter. I don't even need to answer that for you. Okay. Spirit, anything that is not of the light, divine energy, divine plan is no longer welcome here. Tell me what the messages are for my Pile 2. How does Mistress Death feel for my Pile 2? What is my Mistress Death feels for Pile 2? And by the way, I'm using the Line Strider Tarot, the Mini Tarot by Cielo Thompson. They're very tiny, they're very cute. That my mom's wife gave to me. So, we have Ace of Cups here. I was already feeling a sort of affection coming from her side, but she definitely feels like, I wouldn't say an affection necessarily, more like a deep compassion and understanding for you. I feel Mistress Death is the type to feel bad for people who are less fortunate, you know, or have more compassion for those kind of people who have had to like go through more hardships. And I feel like that's the type of person you are, Pile, too. She really feels a deep love for how much you have grown and learned through your hardships and pains in this lifetime. Her and your spirit team, everyone is just like, everyone who truly cares about you and love you is just so admiring you, because you just feel like this such strong person. Like, we have the Fool in reverse here. You're an old soul, you've been through it. I don't know what it is, Pile 2, but there's just something about you. I feel like if Mistress Death could have like affections for the souls she takes through, I feel like you would be one of them, because I feel like she just have a soft spot towards you, and she's not the type to be sweet or coddling or sugarcoating about death, but I feel like for you, she knows she wouldn't even have to be that way. You would just both have a mutual understanding of each other. I feel like you would really understand and accept Mistress Death just like upon meeting her. You'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, she's pretty cool. And she'd be like, yeah, you're pretty cool too, without saying anything. And she would just be like, y'all be walking together, just chilling, vibing between the veil of consciousness. I don't know. There's just this very like chill energy between y'all. I feel like common ground, a sort of mutual understanding about the past, because I feel like the specific path you're taking in this lifetime, I don't know, I feel like Mistress Death really likes that sort of path. It's like very poetic to her. She's like, wow, this is beautiful. And I feel like Mistress Death's sort of purpose and her way, and like what she does, basically who she is, you know, Mistress Death, she takes you through death. She is death, you know, would make sense to you in a weird way. I don't know if you're like a Pisces or a Scorpio watching this. You just have a lot of ego deaths in your life, but I feel like there's something about Mistress Death that you would just understand her in a way that, you know, would make her feel seen. And something about her path in that purpose would align with your soul's vibration. I'm hearing darkness through light, or light through darkness, I mean. Like, it's a sort of romantic, poetic energy, tortured artist energy. It's just like, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so dramatically beautiful. I don't know why I just said that, but no, I feel like Strength in Reversed, I feel like Mistress Death would end up acting a little bit like, I don't know, something about your energy as she's walking you through your life and showing you your life and how it parallels to your death. You'd almost be, it's almost as if you would expect it. Like, you expected everything she's saying, and it's almost like you're having a conversation with her about it. Like, not even like having a conversation, but the way you react is showing her certain things about you that just make her so, she's like, wow, she's like, this is a different perspective than what I'm used to. And technically time doesn't exist for her. She's taking every soul at once, because that's just her existence. She doesn't exist in time, 3D world, like we do. But I feel like there's something in particular about your soul and her soul that like aligns together, that you bring out her sort of more affectionate, more like caring side. Because for Mistress Death, a huge part of who she is being detached from other people's lives and their deaths. That's how she's able to guide them through it, because she isn't attached to she's attached, so it doesn't grow on her, it doesn't consume her, it just flows through her. But I feel like with you, there's something about your life that she becomes attached to, the strength in reverse. She finds strength in being detached and emotionally distant from the people she guides through death. But with you, there's some specific sort of thing she admires about you and the way that you're reacting to your death, that it's sort of even a lesson for her. Which is weird, because it's like, from her perspective, you're just immortal, so you having such an effect on her in that way, she's not used to it, and so that would make her even more strength in reverse of like, why am I being affected in this way? I'm never affected this way. This is so dramatic, because it's Mistress Death, she's unfallible, she's invincible, but no one's invincible, That's what makes it so cool, is that she is Mistress Death, and you're confounding death herself with your death. That's so cool, and that's why she thinks you're really cool. She's like, hey, I know cool people when I see them. I feel like somehow in your interaction with her, she's going to come across to you like a sort of familiarity. She's going to sort of feel like her energy towards you is sort of like, you were meant to happen, you were meant to be this way, you were meant to. She feels like your soul is woven into the very fabric of things, like your soul's purpose has something to do with the very fabric of reality. And I feel like that's why she appreciates you so much. She appreciates that specific fabric that you play such a big part in helping create. I don't know, I just keep hearing she understands you, she understands you, she understands you. It's weird. It's like she reads you like an open book, but it's the kind of book that reaches her heart and makes her sort of like, damn. When you read a really good book and you're like, fuck, what do I do now? How do I even go on after that? So yeah, I guess even Mistress Death has to learn lessons. And you're such a powerful soul for like getting Death herself to learn a new lesson. Yeah, Seven of Swords reversed. I feel like you had a lot of inner conflict in your life, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of inner pain, especially since other people clown on you so much or like treat you so wrongly. A lot of friends and people like that, people you thought you could trust, who just it's like just situational. Like people just happen to be selfish, and the people in your life happen to put you down in all of the areas that you need help and validation with, and they help you in the areas that you don't need any help with, like you already are cemented in as an individual. So there are a lot of things you're having to compensate for that other people usually get outside of themselves, that validation they get. You're having to compensate that for yourself for most of your life. And that's where most of this inner conflict, inner doubt comes from, is because you're having to create that all for yourself. You're having to lift yourself back up on your own in certain ways because no one's helping you. Even in situations where maybe you deserve help, or other people might feel like it's impossible to get through a situation without help, but you just do it anyway because that's how you've always had to do it. You've always had to do it alone. But that's what makes you doubt yourself so much, because you aren't freely handed that validation. But I feel like something about your interaction with Mistress Death is going to show you how much you should have trusted yourself, how much you were able to get through situations without having to manipulate it, without having to control it, without having to be a certain way. Like, you just let it be. And there's something about your soul that is so beautiful, that you can go through darkness, you can go through repeated cycles that have just hurt you over and over again, and you can still come out with the situation being changed, with the situation being different within yourself. You can still come out of it and grow within yourself. But you don't blame other people. You don't try to make other people change. You just change within yourself, always. And I feel like that's a huge thing that Mistress Death, has an affection for about you. Unlike pile 1, I feel like you're not going to fight her in the terms of your last moments of your soul actually having to let go of this life and move on to the next one. You're not going to fight her. I sort of feel like it's going to be an experience as if she is stripping each memory away from you, each experience from you, one by one, until you're almost reversing yourself through time, all the way back to your baby. Because with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, I'm feeling like while you're in your death, there's nothing else you need to learn. There's nothing else you need to accomplish. There's no more things you need to grow within yourself. All you have to do is be there and exist like a little baby. You know what I mean? Just fucking vibing. Literally doing nothing else. Wow. And I feel like death, like the actual death part where you're letting go, is going to be kind of cathartic for you. Because it's going to be sort of like being born, because you're going back to being a baby. I don't know if that makes sense, but like she's sort of reversing it for you. So it's like, every ending is a new beginning type of energy. And you're not going to feel unsatisfied with this life. You're not going to feel regretful. You're going to feel like this is a new beginning. I've created so much with this life. I've changed and grown so much with this life, and I know I can do just as good in the next one. Oh my god, I don't know why I just saw this, but I feel like she's gonna be almost a little bit sad to see you go. She's gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna do great on your next life. I mean, she already knows. She's already helping you through your death in your next life, but I feel like there's just something so particularly poetic about watching you just accept your death with such vigor, with such happiness, with such hope. And it's like, by doing that, you're expressing your affection for herself, like death herself, and expressing your trust and belief in her, and the fact that death doesn't have to be ugly or scary or fearful or angry or stuff like that. It can be beautiful. As beautiful as Mistress Death herself is. Yeah, there's a lot of reflective energy in this pile. I feel like you and Mistress Death are both going to be reflecting each other emotionally. You're all going to be looking at each other like, whoa, that's pretty cool, man. I don't know. It's so cute, and it's so like, it's giving me that energy when I do a reading for someone who like has a new crush, and I pull out a 2 of Cups or the Lovers or something, and I'm like, bro, when I said that, I just pulled out Death. Oh my goodness. I feel like, and then so it's just like, when you pull that for someone, you're like, bro, I just got 2 of Cups. You know what that means? They like you back, and it's just this cute childish energy. You're like, oh my goodness, they like me back. I don't know. That's the type of energy I'm getting between you and Mr. Death. It's just like this inner child sort of giddiness between both of you. I can't believe I got Death when I said that. Look at her. Life through death. Okay, one more card. Spirit, how does Mistress Death feel about pile 2 in terms of where they are in life right now? 4 of Pentacles. So she definitely wants to protect you in some sort of emotional situation. She feels like you need more protection. But not only that, she feels like you're super strong, resilient. You're able to protect yourself from all this bullshit. With 4 Pentacles, you have your power, you have your foundations, you use that power to your advantage. That growth and that light within your heart. And this like psychic power you have, this ability to weave yourself into the very fabrics of the universe. Yeah, she wants you to use that to your advantage. Hi, Pile 3. This is your reading. If you chose this moonstone pendulum that is broken. Spirit, what's the messages here for Pile 3? By the way, this deck is the Line Strider Mini Tarot deck by Cialo Thompson. It's very beautiful and it's tiny. It's about the size of my hand. Or my palm, I guess. And I have very small hands. First of all, we have the Knight of Wands in reversed, which just seems kind of familiar for some reason. I feel like this death for you, Pile 3, is sort of a repeated cycle or something you've been through with Mistress death before. Or it's just like when you meet her, you're gonna get a huge sense of deja vu. Your life is more than just a game to you, Pile 3. You care about what you're doing, where you're at, and who you're with. It really means something to you. And I feel like with Mistress Death, she sees and understands the part of you that's fully, and I mean not half-assedly, but like fully experiencing your life and taking your life seriously the same way that you're going to take death seriously. I feel like you never don't go all out with something. You always give it your all. And when it comes to your life and your death, you're going to give it your all. And that's why when she's showing you your life and how it parallels to your death, it's just gonna make sense. It's gonna be like mirrored energy of just like, I feel like that's why I was getting sort of deja vu energy, because your life is gonna be so similar to your death. We have Queen of Pentacles and 4 of Cups. So I feel like you're going to be sort of feeling this abundance over here with this Queen of Pentacles. You're going to be just passively observing your actions over your life and how it affected you and other people. You're not going to have any major reactions to it. You're just going to be like, yeah, that's what it was. That's what I did. Meanwhile, while death is leading you through this, I don't know if you can see this card, but it's so beautiful. You probably still can't see it on my computer quality, but there's a woman. There's a woman there. There's a bunch of stuff surrounding her, but for some reason she looks so resilient. She looks so resigned. She looks so in her place, I guess, where she's meant to be. I feel like for you, a huge component of who death is that she creates life, creates new beginnings through the reality of death. And I feel like your death is going to remind her of that like innate mirroring in the life and death cycle. Neither can exist without the other. And I feel like with you in particular, there's something. This is a hard energy to explain, but your death and your life are just going to make sense to her. Like, it's going to feel very familiar, very like when you have deja vu and you're like, this is how it's always been. You know, I've done this a million times. That's what it's going to feel like for her and for you to be experiencing that death trip together. And death, she's just she's a very passive person, a very like objective person. And so she's just resigned to it. She's very calm and comfortable in that energy of just familiarity because that's who she is. That's what her soul aligns with. I guess that's what your soul aligns with too. Because you're gonna have this Queen of Pentacles energy where you're just like, yeah, this is what I'm used to. This is just my daily life. Literally. Unlike with pile 2, there's less of like an admiration in your mutual understanding with death, but it's more of a mutual understanding of like each other's existence, you and death, because you both, there's like an understanding of eternity and infinity and the paradox of it when you're dying or when you're meeting death. And because you're so like used to it, because you've come to understand it so concretely and so intricately through your life, you're able to just let death herself like enjoy the experience with you. Just that understanding, the wiseness, like the understanding, you know what I mean, like crown chakra energy. And I feel like your experience with death is going to be particularly mystical, because I'm getting moon card energy of just the subconscious world and the beauty that can come out of it, particularly with artists when they create movies or stories or paintings or songs that are particularly alluring, mysterious, entrancing. There's something, I feel like when you're dying and you and death are both going back through your life together, the way your life happened almost made it to where your death, it was like perfect. It happened perfectly for things to happen in your death to make it an almost mystical experience. So like things that aren't making sense in your life right now are going to make perfect sense when you die, because it's going to make almost this wonderland of beautiful things, because you're in this vibe of understanding, of eternity, of familiarity. And I see you just taking on this same exact resigned energy as Mistress Death, where you're just like, yeah, this makes sense. This is how it always is, has always been, always will be. And there's a feeling of comfort here, like so much comfort. Y'all are just like, woo, comfort. It's just like more and more and more. It's almost like y'all can't be comfortable because there's just so much comfort coming at you. You're like, whoa, this is pretty awesome. We have the Devil here. So maybe when you die, it's gonna be, I forgot to mention this earlier, but your death is gonna be particularly hard. Pile 3 is gonna be particularly hard to get through. And by death I'm meaning before it's the process before you like actually detaching yourself from your body and meeting Mistress Death, but like the process of actually your body dying, that's gonna be hard for you. Like the situation is just gonna be kind of difficult, whatever it is. And that's why I feel like we got the Devil here, because I feel like the Devil is gonna have something to do with your death. This might be this could be anything really. This could be the devil having to do with your physical body dying, or you could actually be meeting the devil during your experience with Mistress Death, where y'all are going back over your life together. But I see that if you do meet the devil beyond the veil like that, like after you're already like dead and you're sort of going through the veil, there's not gonna be any fear, there's not gonna be anything like that. It's just gonna be like understanding, you know, of why that exists. You know what I mean? Because there's just all around understanding of everything. Your soul understands it, but it's your body that's gonna have a hard time letting go. Your ego, yeah, your ego too. Your ego and your body is just like physically hard to let go. It's not your mind and your soul at all. Your mind and your soul are good, but it's your body and your physical like needs, physical attachments to this universe, if that makes sense. Yeah, there's this vibe of something going unfinished, like you're gonna be experiencing the beauty of your death, and then it's almost like you're gonna not be wanting to let go of it because you're like, yeah, my life sucked, but it mirrored into this beautiful death, and I don't want to let go of that death. It's like the death itself that you don't want to let go of, like that beautiful like ending. You don't want to let go of letting go, basically. Because that sense of comfort and familiarity is just where your soul has always been aligned and has always come back to. So you're going to be kind of not wanting to leave when you're having to move on to the next life. Or it's not even that you're not wanting to leave, but I feel like as the death trip goes on, you sort of become resigned too. Like at first it's kind of beautiful and entrancing. It's very beautiful and entrancing at first, but when it comes down to you actually letting go, you get very resigned and detached because, yeah, you don't want to let go, but you know you need to. Because you know that that feeling of understanding can't come again unless you, like, go through another life. I see for some of you, it's going to be a little bit, you might feel conflicted because you're going to feel the urge to stay behind in the material world for some of the people in your life, like family, friends, whatever, but you're not supposed to. You're not meant to do that in this lifetime. You're meant to go ahead and move on to the next life. But you're still going to feel a little bit conflicted because there's someone you still want to make sure is taken care of on the material plane after you're dead. And I see Mistress Death assuring you that she will take care of it. That was a very specific message for some of you, but anyway, I feel like this death is so similar to all your past lives' deaths because you always come back to that sense of understanding. Like that's where your soul comes back to, and that's why death feels so like she feels so familiar with you because she knows she's been through this exact same death with you before, if that makes sense. And that's why you're gonna feel so much deja vu, because that's just how your soul prefers to experience death. And that's why she's so resigned to it, because it's already happened so many times with you that it's like, yeah, that's just how it is. Okay, one more card. One more card from my pile of threes. How does Mistress Death feel towards and pile 3s in their life right now. Okay. You've been experiencing a great burden. You've been going through a lot of tough stuff, shadow work type stuff. And you're not going to be catching a break anytime soon, sadly. So find a way to detach yourself from those burdens and channel any blockages into creativity, and make sure that you're not letting any negative energy build up within yourself, because you still have a lot to go, is what I'm hearing on your journey. King of Wands reversed. Either you have some temperament issues you need to work out. I feel like for most of you that's not the case. I feel like for most of you it's like someone else has the temperament issues, and you either need to cut them off or put them at a distance from you, or set like very clear boundaries with them within yourself, so that you're not letting them cross your boundaries emotionally, even if you can't get away from them physically for whatever reason in the material universe. I also feel like you need to take a step back and like smell the roses, see how much you've changed. Because we have 5 Pentacles reversed. You used to be a lot different of a soul. You know what I mean? And I feel like even though your death is the same each time, and like the way you execute it and the way you weave it into your life so that it can be beautiful on both sides, even though death has become resigned to that, it's like you have changed so much through each life. Even though it's the same like sort of execution, you make it more beautiful, more complex each time. So what I'm hearing from death is that you shouldn't doubt your eccentricities or the weird or odd things about you that nobody can explain, or even you can't explain about yourself, because it will make sense in death. That's just who your soul is. And if the things you're doing feel aligned with your soul's true purpose, then just do it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't doubt yourself, and don't let other people tell you you're doing your life wrong, because there's no way to do your life wrong. Everybody's life is their own. Everybody's soul has their own journey you created. 7 of Pentacles reversed. You need to stay in the moment. Let yourself be more impulsive, intuitive. Stop trying to... The more you try to plan things the way you've been planning them, it's not working. It just falls apart because you're not aligning it with your present moment. You need to align it with your abilities to like... Because you're very... Some of you might be ADHD. You're the type of person who stays in the moment. You forget things in the long term, you know? You operate in the present moment, basically. So you need to plan your growth and your daily routines around the fact that you are going to be impulsive and you live in the present moment. You forget things. You need to make lists for the thing you remember. You need to set alarms for things you do at a specific time. And you need to be able to be flexible and work around the fact that your schedule is going to always change and be weird, because your mind just operates at a different like level of just like bouncing around. Don't hold yourself to any strict policy or anything like that. Other people aren't going to be able to understand your routine and the way you work. You just need to find that own discipline within yourself and balance within yourself of like planning around the fact that you live impulsively. And then 8 of Pentacles here. So what I'm hearing from death is that you are manifesting everything your soul desires. You have already you are manifesting it. If you haven't already, you are manifesting it. So don't stop trying to reach for more unless there's something more you're wanting, unless there's something more you're needing. Like, really make sure you remember why you're here and what you feel like you need, because if there's not something you're reaching for, or there's not something you're running towards, then you can just chill in this moment. You can just create, like, from this moment without expecting yourself to do anything, to have a specific plan, to do this, to do that, you know? And of course, if you have goals, go towards those goals. But if you don't have anything, if you have everything you need, then be cool with that. You don't have to keep pushing yourself for more. You have manifested. You have manifested the things you need, and you constantly manifest the things you need. With just the way you operate.